Hey guys, welcome to the Marketing Mavens Podcast. My name is Emily Roman, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about hiring and going from solopreneur to actually building out your first team, right? And I got this question in my Facebook group, the Marketing Mavens community, from somebody that basically is actually looking to scale. And a lot of times we believe that scaling our business requires that we have this huge team. If you're making $10,000 a month, that in order for you to get to 40, 50, $60,000 a month, you have to have this huge team that, includes OBMs, VAs, graphic designers, social media managers, and things of that nature. But what I have found, because from experience, I've done both. I've done the whole actually building an entire team, having even a COO and director of advertising at one point, to then completely removing everybody in my team and starting over. And I think that in order for you, if you want to make $50,000 a month, right, you don't really need a big team. What you do need though is, and I'm going to be saying this a lot, and if you haven't heard me say this before, this is probably your first time listening to me, but all you really need is a tangible offer and a tangible result that you can actually borderline 150% guarantee. So what do I mean by that? And I know that some people might be like afraid of doing that because you hear a lot of people saying otherwise. Like people say, hey, you shouldn't guarantee certain things, or hey, like you need to price your worth. But what does that really mean, right? And if you think about it as business owners, because I don't know if you guys have been on both ends, but I've been on both ends of the table where maybe I'm hiring someone to generate a specific type of result for my business, and they don't guarantee the results. And yet I'm supposed to be paying $2,500, $5,000 a month for something that they cannot guarantee. That doesn't really feel nice. It doesn't feel good. And it feels really, it's scary to invest money on something that you can't actually have results on. There's no guarantees. So what if you switch that and you become so confident in what you offer in your skill sets that you can actually guarantee some kind of result, right? So in my marketing firm, there's multiple things that I guarantee, right? So if we're talking about content marketing, I guarantee that you're going to have at least 10 to 30% increase in your entire community's ecosystem by the time we're done working with you, right? And it typically is like 30 to 90 days for you to see some kind of result like that. Then on the advertising part of things, I don't just like if I get a budget, I don't just like spend that budget and say, yes, I'm going to guarantee that you have an ROI on that budget. I also say things like, hey, listen, I know you gave me, let's say $25,000 a month on that budget, because you're probably used to spending that much money. But what if I could save you, some money in that budget and actually acquire the same results, right? So maybe the cost per lead, actually, we can lower that instead of thinking of we need to put more revenue or more budget into the ads to make more revenue. Maybe we can lower the cost per lead first, right? So these are things that I want you to start thinking about creatively. Like, okay, what other benefits am I giving aside from the typical thing that we're always regurgitating during these discovery calls, right? So if like you're a social media manager, they're going to be like, you're probably saying things like, hey, yeah, I can save you some time. I can create these gorgeous pictures and things like that. But what if you get bold, right? What if you get bold and say, hey, listen, like, I can increase all the relevant data by 10% within 45 days, right? And you might be asking yourself questions like, well, in a perfect case scenario, I could, but most of the time I am dealing with people that don't provide me with enough pictures, enough content for me to repurpose and build a strategy with. Maybe they're very difficult and things like that. But instead of having that internal struggle of understanding like of like, oh man, like more than likely these clients are difficult, start visualizing what a perfect case scenario is, because clients don't make the perfect case scenario. You do. You are the one, you have the ability to request how the work is going to be done because you are the expert. So if you know that you could potentially increase somebody's relevant data on social media by 15% within 45 days, what do you really need in order to make that happen? Like, I can tell you that in order for that to happen, I need massive amounts of content, right? Like, we need tons of content. We need a person who does reels, for example. Like, let's say I'm just thinking about Instagram, right? We need a person who is willing to create reels based on the prompts that we give them. We need to make sure that we have a consistent daily schedule of engagement. We need to make sure that we know exactly who we're working with and who is our audience, and that it's very niche down so that we know exactly who we need to do outreach with and like follow and all this other stuff, right? So these are the ingredients to get to that result, right? And so if you know what these ingredients are, you don't need to negotiate the ingredients of your secret sauce, okay? What you need to do is tell them, listen, I have the secret sauce. I know what the ingredients are. I'm gonna give you the ingredients. And this is how much it costs for me to get you to point B, right? From point A to point B. And this is what I need from you. And when you shift that conversation, you're able to charge accordingly, right? Because now you're like, yeah, I'm going to give you these results. They're guaranteed. And I'm going to charge you for that guarantee, because it's not just the work that I got to do in order to get there. It's not just the brains that I got to have to get you there. It's not just the time and the energy that I gotta spend and invest in your business to get you there. It's also the guarantee. I'm also charging you for the guarantee. And on the end user side, on the prospect side, they're really just thinking about that guarantee, because at the end of the day, they don't really care how you get them there. They care about the results. And so if you approach your discovery calls and your sales calls and your entire business in that direction of results and performance, then all of a sudden your entire conversation shifts, because it doesn't matter. I'm gonna give you an example that I just recently, like today I had this conversation. I had this potential customer. It's not a customer, because I'm actually thinking about applying for director roles in corporate, because I want to kind of dive into that and experience that, because I never have. Like, I quit my 9-to-5 as a business operations analyst, and I've been doing this whole business things for a very long time. And now I have some clients that are consulting clients, but I was wondering, like, what if like I had one business that gives me maybe like $100,000 budget or more, so that I can like really blow up a company? What would that look like, right? Because a lot of times we don't really get these like huge budgets to play with. And so we can't test. So I'm excited for testing, and I just want to like try new things. But anyways, so I'm having this conversation with this guy. This guy is the VP of partnerships of something, right? And this company has a $35,000 a month budget, but they also are willing to go open it up to 100,000. And in my executive resume, I don't have any certifications. I only have one certification. It's a HubSpot certification. And he was like, you don't really have any certifications. I was like, I don't, but I can get you results. And he was like, you know what, you're right. We don't really care about certifications. We care about real world application and the experience that you have to get somebody to go from point A to point Z, right? And so that was a testament of like, really, people don't really care about the how. Okay, they care about you giving that end result that you actually, that you're known for, that you're attracting people for. So if you are looking to scale your business, the first thing, like if I were to be coaching you, the first thing that we would talk about, maybe like I would spend 15 to 30 days talking about this and really aligning your business to become a performance-based machine, right? A machine that actually provides results that are tangible results, that are measurable results, that are quantifiable results, right? And most of the time we have it in us. If you've been in business for over a year and you have clients that are happy with you, you provide results. It's just a matter of extracting those offers and those hooks and understanding your case studies and positioning you in a very specific way. And a lot of times I remember when I first discovered this and I first started trying to do this shift into performance-based marketing. I was skeptical. I was hesitating because I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like maybe I wasn't really a great marketer. Maybe I'm basically not cut out for this. Maybe I don't know. Like I kept on seeing some advertiser, like, people, media buyers saying, yeah, we're performance-based advertisers. So we don't get paid until you get paid. And like, we get a portion of the sales. And that's also something that I do depending on a lot of things, right? So these are different factors that I put into place. But I started thinking like, holy smokes, let me go back. And I've talked about this in the past too. One of my favorite authors is David Goggins, and he talks about the cookie jar. And I've talked about this before, like I said. So have a mental cookie jar of all the accomplishments that you've had in your personal life, but also in your career as a freelancer, as a digital marketer. I actually have my cookie jar in a Slack thread. So like in a Slack channel. So like my Slack channel is called Recorded Wins. And every time I have a testimonial or somebody says something nice about me and the things that I do, I screenshot it and then I send it to myself. And the reason why I do this is because when I started making that shift to performance-based marketing and really quantifying my offers and actually positioning my results in a tangible way, I was skeptical of myself. I started doubting my own talents and my skill sets. And I had to go back to my case studies and my testimonials and the screenshots. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm doing this. I can do this. I've done this before. I've provided results. And I'm the type of person, and I think that this comes from like probably like childhood trauma or something like that, that even if I accomplish something really, really big, I am happy for like 5 seconds and then I completely forget about it. And I'm not conscious of that. Whereas my husband, if he has like this accomplishment, if he accomplishes something, he feels good about himself. He like his head goes, ego, huge ego, head can't even fit through the door. You know what I'm saying? But me, it's like, oh, I accomplished something, I won, or whatever. I helped somebody reach 1 million views within 6 months on LinkedIn, but boom, like I forget. And that mind frame that I have also doesn't help my client relationship, because I take them there and they're excited, but I'm not actually reflecting the excitement long enough for them to respect me, right? So I want you to think, if you're hesitating on actually building your tangible offer, a result, like a performance-based offer, I want you to start going back and looking at the things that you have done and know that there are very, very clear ways of positioning yourself in a specific way where you are a performance-based marketer, right? How can you position everything that you've done up until now as a performance-based, results-driven type of marketer? So I want you to ask yourself that question. And the reason why is because once you position yourself as that, and you have the tools and the material to back that up, your entire ability of pricing yourself like high-end premium, and I'm not talking $3,000 a month, I'm talking about like 10, 12. I'm talking about annual salaries of $110,000, $120,000 a year plus equity, right? Like I'm talking about big boy games, right? It completely changes the game for you, because you now are like essentially, somebody that people want to work with. Again, because you are offering results. It's not really the how, it is the what. Where are you getting them to, right? And so when Sherry actually asked like, hey, I'm thinking of scaling at this point because I've capped out and I need help. Could it be that maybe if you position your entire offer, your entire results, your entire service in a way that is results-based, performance-driven, right? Could you potentially triple whatever you're charging right now and actually attract clients that are willing to pay you that much without you having to hire other people? And also, what does that do, right? Mathematically, let's talk about numbers, right? So if you do that, right, and you are now, let's say that one of your offers is content marketing, social media. Let's say you're managing Instagram, right? But you have a tangible offer and you're charging, let's say $3,000 a month for Instagram, right? Just to create content. And let's say you're posting seven days of the week, once a week, and you're helping your clients with, I don't know, like, let's say you're helping your clients with like reels and things of that nature. If you attracted the right people that are more interested in the result of what you do on Instagram, you could charge $6,000 a month for the same thing that you're charging $3,000 a month right now. Okay. And that is a huge shift because you don't necessarily need to get somebody else to help you at that $6,000 a month threshold because you are essentially doing the same exact thing. Does that make sense? So what does that do mathematically? Now you are charging more. So you have an immediate increase of revenue, but your profit margins remain the same. What happens is that when you actually hire help, right, you're going to have to allocate a budget for that help. And there's a lot of nuances of building teams that you may not actually even consider. So for example, if you are a person that cares about your team and you want to build culture, you might get to a point where you're like, okay, I have 4 clients right now, but what if 2 clients quit on you midway and you cannot afford to sustain that help? The awkward conversations, the difficult conversations, which I'm not saying that you need to avoid. And I'm also not saying that you need to just basically not have help. I'm not saying that. I'm very big about outsourcing things, right? I've basically outsourced my entire life. But what I'm saying is that I'd rather you position yourself in a way that you are a performance-based marketer, a serious results-driven marketer. First, increase that revenue, remain the same at your profit margins, right? Like actually your profit margins would increase too. Increase your profit margins, increase your revenue. Grab the surplus of money that you have coming in now that you are attracting those bigger clients and now that you're charging more. Grab that surplus, save it for 2 to 3 months, and then understand what your business looks like at that point. Because maybe what you need is an executive assistant, right? Maybe you don't need help creating graphics or designing the website and going through that whole process. Maybe what you need is somebody to help you make sure that you're being managed properly in your schedule and things like that, right? So that's my recommendation. Now, if you are in desperate need of help and you still want to go that route, I recommend checking out the Doers website. I'll put that link on that website below. I've never actually hired them, but I am actually considering doing that in the next couple of months because what I need is someone who can help me with graphic design and like creating content on my social media, but I still want to have very much a lot of involvement in my entire operations. And because I'm only working one-on-one specifically, and I'm getting paid really well for it with these big clients, I don't really need to execute day-to-day with these clients. There's a lot of consulting work. And so I would recommend that you go to that website, see if it's something that is reasonable for you, and look at the options that they have. The doers are basically trained. They're given education on a consistent basis. So you don't have to like invest in education for the person, because there's another nuance that you have to think about, right? Like you have to think about like educating people, training them, making sure that they are on par with the standards that you've set for yourself. Because up until now, your reputation was solely based on what you did. So you didn't have to like hold anybody else accountable except for yourself. But once you have a team member, you have to hold them accountable, especially if they have to deal with some type of client deliverable, even if they're not talking with the client. If they post something or if they create something that is not to the client's expectations because they're so used to the quality that you've created for them or that you've established, that's a problem. And that actually reflects bad on you, because then they don't have the confidence of you being a team leader, right? Because clients also look at that. They see like, okay, are you a good leader? And are you actually creating a team that delivers at the same standard, at the same level as you, or even further, right? So I hope that this episode helped you guys. I'm going to leave the links on the Doers website down below. And if you guys are looking to get coached and really build out and position yourself as a results-driven marketer and somebody that is attractive, not just to like the low-end clients, but high-end clients, and you want to build a sustainable and profitable brand for yourself, I am actually opening up my VIP calls. They are 1 hour. And if you want to schedule that, I'm going to leave the link below as well. I'd love to speak with you guys in terms of your business and how I can better support you. So I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you on the next episode.